but we should have, you should see her join in pretty soon, Kevin.
Wonderful.
Gentry should be joining as well.
Okay, I'm going to bring this live on my platforms as well. Everybody, make sure you go check out Speechless with Kev. That's me. You should follow my stuff. I'd appreciate it.
All right, everyone, we are going to have Aura Vasquez joining pretty soon here. She is a City Council of LA candidate, and we are now officially
I think I lost him. I don't know if that's just me. I let you in, my dude. Did something happen? Oof. There we go. You're back.
something funky's happening here.
All good. All good. Maybe it's the fact that we're trying to talk to this individual running for LA City Council. Maybe Instagram doesn't want people of different ideologies trying to talk to each other or something. Well, Breakaway USA has left. Everybody, I am still here. Thank you for joining. We will make sure that we get this all funked out. I know if you're watching, because I'm currently also live streaming this on my YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all that stuff. Instagram is a new platform for me. So everybody who is currently watching, make sure you go check out Speechless with Kev wherever you are. That's me. We'll make sure we get everybody into this live stream and we flesh out all the potential issues. But in the meantime, thank you guys for joining. Thank you. Follow Breakaway USA. Make sure you're following Speechless with Kev. Make sure you're following Gentry Jevers, Fabian Lukes, everything. All of them. Amazing. Here we go. We got Fabian coming in, should be coming in right now. I don't know what happened with Breakaway.
All right. So, Kevin, am I going live from my account or from the Breakaway account?
You're currently from your personal account.
Something very funky is happening then. Okay, we are on. All right. Sorry, everyone. I don't know what's happening. It wasn't allowing me to join, but it said my account is not banned from joining. So just a little bit confused on what's happening. So just give us one quick second. We're going to have Los Angeles City Council candidate. We're going to have Los Angeles City Council candidate Aura Vasquez joining us.
It's going to be great. No matter where you're tuning in from, everybody, you can always make sure that you are liking and following Breakaway _USA, myself, Speechless Kev, Fabian LUXE. How do you pronounce? Is that like your last name? Like how do you pronounce that? How do you pronounce your?
Fabian Lux is the Instagram.
That's what I thought.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Can you see if Aura is trying to join or Gentry said he cannot join for some reason?
I haven't seen anybody asking to join. It does say Breakaway USA is trying to join.
That must be Gentry.
I will see if that's him, and I'll try to let him in. I have pushed accept.
Oh,
there we go. Okay. We got Gentry in here now.
Okay. So it's working. It is working, everyone. Apologize for the difficulties. Aura just read my message right now. I can see that, and she's going to be joining here soon. What's up, AP? Shout out to AP, Mr. Hollywood Nightlife. She can't. Can you request her? She doesn't see that I'm live. That's interesting. Can you? It's AURA.
Do I? Here we go. Maybe AURA.
Yeah. VAS. QUEZ.
QUEZ.
Official.
I'm trying to make sure it comes up here. I'm
Aura
also
Vasquez, official.
it will not like I'm trying to search it right now. It is not coming up.
Okay.
Nothing comes up for me right now.
Let me message her to go join yours.
I'm waving at everybody right now. I'm saying hello. This is my first time hosting an Instagram Live. I'm so happy to be here, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. You might be here because Gentry's account told you to come or Breakaway. You might be here because Fabian told you to come. That's great. But now you're here with Speechless Kev. So
we're in Kev's house now.
Oh yeah. It's my world and you're just living in it.
By the way, if you know anybody who lives in LA, send this live to them because we're about to interview the candidate for LA City Council. So this is going to be a really important one for them to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So if you know anybody in LA or California or whatever, send this live to them.
And if you were ever interested in what the side of Fabian's ear looks like you get a perfect no, not anymore. He left. Oh man, we had a great view of that ear. Dang.
Fabian, you got to do like a skincare routine. You got to do like a get ready with me.
So she says, "Is this a joke?" I said, "No, I'm not sure why it's not having you see me." So you can't find her, Kevin?
No, I couldn't find her. I'll try again, but
and I can't.
No,
I can't.
You know what she's doing? Instagram is not that difficult. What she's doing is she's trying to make it seem like there's all these technical issues, and so she just can't join.
Right, hold on.
That's what she's doing. She's backing out last minute with the excuse of connectivity issues, Instagram issues.
I tried.
Now.
BASZ.
She's apparently not comfortable that there's 3 people. She said it's not very transparent.
Yeah, exactly. She's making excuses. If you're watching this, whatever your name is,
come on. This is going to be a great conversation. This is going to be great.
All right, let me.
We should.
You know what? Let me try starting it from mine because I'm not sure what the confusion is here, but yeah. Let me go ahead and see if I can start one from mine. Oh, Instagram.
Okay, we'll figure it out. And everybody, if you're watching on any of my other platforms, stay with me. I am managing this on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, all that fun stuff. This is going to be, if we can make this work, this is going to be great. Everybody make sure you're following at Speechless Kev wherever you're watching from, and we're going to make this work. I'll stay live right here until I know that Fabian is live somewhere else. Gentry, do you want to stick with me until we know that Fabian's live and we can get somewhere else?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Right. Tell me what you're thinking about this upcoming interview that we're trying to have with this seems like a democratic socialist, neo-Marxist kind of individual. We're supposed to be having this.
So
and what are your thoughts?
I have a certain level of disdain for these people, and I know that they always wimp out. In the 9th inning or the last hour to actually do an interview. They're like, "Oh yeah, like that's perfect," blah blah blah, and then because they want to get views. And then they start to realize that, oh, we're on the other side of the aisle and we're going to ask the questions that they don't have the answers to because they're all shallow thinkers and they don't actually know how to defend their positions with someone who doesn't think like them. And they always wimp out. Always. There's a few instances where they don't wimp out, but like I've had interviews teed up with people and they've wimped out. I've heard of other people have interviews teed up with people and they've wimped out. It just seems like a wimpy party.
Seems like a wimpy party. Currently just got a text from Fabian saying she's tripping. She wants him to join hers. Well, I'm hoping that we can also be involved in this. We'll make sure that this works.
Here's what I know about us. Like you and me, Kevin, Fabian, and David, and the whole crew, Michael, is we're not scared to defend our positions. Like we would hop on a live. We would.
Oh yeah, I would hop on a live. Any lefty who wants me to join a live stream with them, let me know. Let me know. We'll make it work in my schedule, and we'll do it. DM me anywhere at Speechless Kev. It's really easy to spell, and if you can't spell it, then it's probably not worth your time to bring me on a live stream anyways. So at Speechless Kev, DM me when I'm available, and we can make it work. And heck, I will do like shot for shot. Let's do it. Like we'll get hammered, and I will still be able to defend my positions better than any lefty out there that wants to challenge me. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. That's just the Irish in me. So.
Yep. Well, we love the Irish in you, man. We also love the American in you.
Damn right. You know, did you know that we are coming up upon the largest day for cultural appropriation in the history of the world?
Interesting.
That's not an excuse of not playing chess. And chess is fascinating and it's awesome. So, you know, kudos to you that you play chess. It's an awesome sport. It's a very awesome sport.
Yeah.
So what's up? I'm here. You tagged me.
Yes.
You wanted to
This
have
was
a
a very
conversation with
interesting.
council members. Let's get into it.
This was a very interesting attempt to go Instagram Live. We go Instagram Live every day, and it just was not working today for some reason. But
you're here.
I'm
here.
here.
Got you. We got you back. What's up? Challenge accepted. I'm gonna put my headset because I'm getting a little of feedback.
For anyone joining from my account here, this is Ara Vasquez. She is running for the 10th district of the Los Angeles City Council. And being a resident of Los Angeles all my life, I did want to get into it and have a real talk. So so everyone knows, I'm a registered independent in Los Angeles, right? So I am neither or, but I do have some opinions living here all my life. And how long have you? I saw on your website that you went to school in New York, I believe.
Yeah.
When did you move to California?
So I went to college in New York. I came to this country at age 18 from Colombia. Many of you, maybe you don't know, maybe you do know, but I'm Colombian. And I came to this country when I was 18. That's many moons ago. We don't need to do the math here in public. But I went to college in New York. I worked for a Congress member in New York. I did a lot of my beginning of my career in New York City. And then I moved here in 2009, 2010, after I had some sort of change of hearts. I really wanted to do more community work. I felt very called and very committed to do something that will empower people.
Okay.
So that's when I learned about community organizing, and
yeah,
inspired by President Obama, I ended up here in California working on, being a community organizer.
Yeah, I read your website. You said President Obama's 2008 campaign victory inspired you to pursue a career in organizing. Actually, here's something. If we're talking real talk, I'm very pissed off with what Obama has been doing ever since, especially his presidency, since he's been over. He's a producer now of a Netflix documentary. I don't know if you've seen it. One of the lines that I believe is very, very divisive for the country, especially in a time that's very sensitive like this, is there's a line in the movie that says, "If the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily, especially to white people." Is that not the definition of racism?
I mean, I think so. I haven't seen the show,
Okay,
and
so
people say a
that's
lot
the
of
line in the
things,
movie, yeah.
but just hearing you from that expression, you know, it's so interesting to see where we are in the world right now. People really trying to gain some rights, people losing rights, people have losing sense of themselves, losing, you know, and with your question, just to go straight to your question about, is this racist? You know, racism has a lot to do with one's disadvantage in your own, you know, right.
So racism
And
is subjective to
I
your
believe
own.
so.
So
I
if you identify your,
believe
sorry, so
it is subjective as an academic term that we use now, racism.
yes,
You
Ron.
know,
Sorry, Ron asked. Yes, the documentary says, and I'm reading it actually the verbatim. If the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily, especially to white people.
mhm.
This is a Barack Obama production on Netflix. The one that just came out that's everyone's talking about because it was so weird. Um, so okay, so you said that racism is subjective to the individual person and their upbringing.
No, I think that the way that we define racism today is, you know, it has a lot to do with, you know, one's color of our skin and you know,
And
and
that's
how
different
marginalized
than.
have been.
So you're saying the way we define it today, has that changed from the way that's been defined historically?
You know, I will think so. I will think so because in the days of slavery, you know, racism was considered something very different. Like, you know, slave owners, white folks, colonizers had, you know, people that came from Europe and, you know, settled here in the United States, the 13 colonies.
In the
Yeah,
American
because
sense.
at the beginning for the settlers was a very different story than what is now. When we and I don't think that's uncommon, right? Like we evolved. Some things happened before. We had, for example, segregation,
You know,
and that was
here's my
okay in
issue.
those days, and it's not okay now. You know, so
So
things change.
here's my issue about making comments that things change and very casually just accepting that things change. So race, as postmodernists agree or now agree in their postmodernism, that race is a social construct as well. That was perpetuated by the white European people to divide people. That a long time ago there was no race, there were just people. And if you look back historically, no one ever said the color of your skin meant that you're this or that. So the way that I try to accept or that I try to reason this is some people say racism exists. Some people say, like you said, that the definition changes. But then people on the left, like postmodernists, say that racism
Okay,
is a social
you guys
construct,
are
just like gender and
no
sex.
matter where you
So
are.
how do you marry?
Know that Fabian is still doing a great job of trying to talk to this woman and everything, but this woman chickened out. So originally, this was supposed to be a conversation that we all had together. There was supposed to be me, Gentry, and Fabian, as well as this LA City Council candidate who is a far leftist. So keep listening. I'll be here and I'll react to what they're talking about. And I also have it up here right here on my phone, ready to join if she allows to have multiple people talk to her.
Well,
I'm
actually, hold on. I never got an answer from you.
I'm
Do
taking
you
it back.
believe? Wait. Let me, because we never finished the. Do you believe that that statement is racist in itself? That we should not trust white people?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Personally,
So if I said don't trust black
uh,
people, would that be okay as well?
but you have the right to say whatever you want to say.
Oh no, not about my right, but do you think it would be okay to say that? Not if I have a right to say that.
I mean, look,
Because you can't have one without the other. That's a double standard.
I think that in today's society, especially when it comes to issues to race, gender, even sexual orientation, I think people have their beliefs. Even women's rights, they have their beliefs and they have their understanding and they have their own rights. And that's why we live in a country that has laws that protect certain people. And I'm sure you understand that. And it's not for me to come and I'm not a judge. It's not for me to come and interpret this. But what I would love to discuss with you, which is what you challenged me for, is my candidacy for city council.
Yeah.
So I know that you have some
to
local issues that are important to you that you probably want me to answer. So I'm here to talk about them.
Yes. So my next question is, you arrived in Los Angeles in 2009. Do you feel like things have gotten better or worse since that year?
Thank you for asking that. That's a really great question. There are some things that have gone better. And there are some things that I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You know, for example, I have been, an environmental person for many years, since I was a child. I definitely think that environmental protections today that are better for the environment and for our health. Absolutely. We have more technology. It has helped us in a lot of ways. But there are other things that are not so great. The fact that we have a public transit system that is shit. Like we can't get from point A to point B. If
what
right
about
now,
crime?
Let me go on with my rant.
Okay, well,
let me go on with my rant. This woman literally cannot have a conversation with people who disagree with her. It's literally, this is her trying to political posture herself when she could actually be having a conversation with people who disagree with her, but she decided not to.
Are making a minimum wage cannot survive in this city. If you make a minimum wage in this chat, please post it in the comments and tell me how you can survive in this city, because that's one of the biggest issues, at least for me. The fact that there is no upper mobility because people cannot afford to live in this city.
And why is that?
Because things are getting just more expensive, and also because we don't have there is a lot of variables about why things are getting more expensive.
This woman is a coward. She's absolutely a coward.
In terms of housing,
agreed to an interview that she decided not to even take.
It's not growing at the amount of people that are here in Los Angeles.
Why is that?
And also some housing stock is just is owned by investors that is not being rented. So when you talk about housing, if you have very little, you have a lot of demand and very little supply, what happens? What happens? What happens when you have a lot of demand and little supply? What happens, Fabian?
So developers build houses.
What happens when you have a lot of supply and little supply? What happens?
Are you asking like a?
I'm asking you. Yeah, I'm asking you. We're having a conversation.
So developers build homes and people live in them, right?
Answer my question.
It's a pretty obvious answer. I don't want to
answer it.
Obvious question.
So
developers come in.
It gets more expensive. If you want me to spell it out for you, I'll do it. When you have a lot of demand and little supply, what happens is the housing gets more expensive. So no salary is enough.
That really depends. So if you're talking about a free market, then the supply and demand will find an equilibrium. That's the free market. Now, when you have, because now you're asking me a political question. That's why I don't want to answer.
I'm just asking you an economics question, really. It's not even political.
Absolutely, because what you agree with economically depends on your political outlook. So if you believe in individual freedom, then you say, leave the government out of it and let the businesses and the market handle it themselves.
And they have.
Find a price.
And they have.
Do you believe? So, for instance, the Cato Institute has labeled California the 48th out of the 50th less free state in the country.
What does that have to do with housing?
Well, more freedom in business equals better overall environment. Would you agree with that, or would you say less?
Potentially. Okay. I think also like an overrun is only the businesses running the show. I don't think it's also is not also a good thing. But the free market has helped us in a lot of things, having a free market. And they have brought innovation that has actually brought costs in a lot of other, not just housing and other things like lower. So I am not someone that is against businesses.
Okay, so why are rents going up though? We kind of skipped past that.
But we just went through this.
Well, because you're talking about different things, but I want to get the question.
I'm responding to what you're talking. I wanted to stay in the housing topic, but you wanted so maybe we should just like decide a few topics that we're gonna cover. so we can cover them really well and help people understand our points of
Yeah.
view. And maybe,
So we also
Fabian,
never got-
some of these points we might not agree, and that's
Well,
cool.
the
I'm
question
cool with that.
initially was do you feel like things have gotten better in Los Angeles since you came here?
And my point,
Oh my
and
God,
my
this woman is
answer was
crazy. I'm
twofold.
sorry for all
Some
these
things have
technical
gone better, and I
difficulties,
explained the
everybody.
things about around
This
environmental
This has just been
protections,
one
and some
heck of
things
a
have
night.
not done great, like transportation, housing. I think the other part, jobs, was another one that I think is in my district at least. And for those of you that are watching, I live. My district is Koreatown, Mid City, Little Ethiopia, West Adams, Leimert Park, Crenshaw. You know, like the center of Los Angeles. 40% of the small businesses close in the district.
Yeah, here's my issue being an objective, independent voter. I see two things. I see prices skyrocketing. I see homeless skyrocketing. What I also see is a city budget that every year gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the problem does not get fixed. So if
Who gets the bigger chunk of the budget, though?
You tell me.
You really want me to say? Because I think you know.
I don't. I want you to tell me who gets the budget.
Okay. So I invite everybody to go visit the controller's site. He's actually been putting a lot of good stuff in his Instagram, actually, in his social media, and also on his website. Over 60% of our budget goes to the police. That's not, I don't want, it's a fact.
Okay.
That's over 60% of the, and if anybody has the chat, the link to the
so
controller, please post it on the comments.
Got it. So you're saying
you're talking about the budget's increasing.
I get it.
And I'm agreeing with you.
Are you saying we need less police?
I'm not saying we need less police.
Okay, so
what I'm saying is that you started talking about the budget, and the budget is growing, but there is a big part. If we want to, let's say, better roads, there's a big part of our budget that is going to one department, which is law enforcement.
So should we abolish the
police? Is it going? I have a better one for you. So it makes you sound a little more. It makes you sound a little more current.
Should we abolish the police, or is there a new language for the same thing?
I think what we need is accountability. Accountability is not just for me or for you. Accountability is not just for you and for me. Accountability is for everyone in this city.
Year after year after year, it never happens. So. Okay, should we defund the police?
But accountability for the law enforcement too, because they take the biggest chunk of our budget.
Answer the question, lady. Should we fund the police?
We already funded the police, so we cannot defund. They already took our money.
Okay, in your dream world, if you have
they already took our money. We cannot take it back.
Would you defund the police?
The police is undefundable.
In your dream world.
You can't undefund them. They're taking our money already.
Okay.
I'm answering your question.
The reason I ask is because I saw a picture on your website where you had ties with the Sunrise Movement. You were at some table with them. And the Sunrise Movement calls for defunding the police. They also call for climate change reparations for Black people. Because it says that Black people I guess get more climate change than other people, white people or black people?
So just so you know, people of color in general, Black people, indigenous, especially indigenous. My God, we don't get to talk a lot like brown, Black and brown.
Yeah, everything.
For the most part, they live in high pollution areas because they don't have the same amount of income that
are you
others
saying like
have.
Specific parts of LA get more pollution than the others?
Yes, especially if you live in a 10-block radius from a freeway, you are definitely breathing worse air. If you live more inland,
only Black people live by freeways?
A lot of low-income people, Black and brown communities for the most part.
So if I go to Sherman Oaks or if I go to the 101.
Sherman Oaks has a freeway?
So to say that Black people live by their freeway because they're poor, that's to me it sounds really racist, but it doesn't really make sense because air travels, right?
I know you want your clickbaits. I know you want them.
And
I'm here for it. And I'm here for it. But I am recording it. Yes. And I am here for it. But I'm not gonna let you continue talking about something where is a fact and dismissing a reality because it's irresponsible. low-income people and people of color live for the most
What
part
is low income
in most
mean?
polluted.
Like, how much is low income?
Fabian,
No.
we have to
This is a
agree
real
to.
answer.
I know, but
I
let me
told you,
finish
real
the
talk.
original
Everything
question.
you're saying, every politician says the same thing. Low income
That's
people help us.
that's not true.
Yes, it is. I've lived
That's
here
not
all my
true
life.
because I am trying to give you answers from the
the
bottom of my
politician
heart.
talking points. You're giving me the we have to help people, but what is low income to you? Like what specifically? Because there is a limit, right? There is a maximum amount of money that you can make to be considered low income. What is that?
People that live in higher pollution areas are, for the most part, Latinos, Black,
But that's not what I asked you.
indigenous,
What is
low
low income
income
considered?
folks.
You said low income people.
Low income.
So is she trying to say that people that are of a certain color of skin are more likely to be low income? Look, that's not necessarily like not untrue based on statistics, but wouldn't that fit her definition of racism? Keep listening. This lady is just absolutely crazy.
Low income people are Black and brown, and they live by freeways and they inhale pollution, so we have to give them money.
I
That
mean,
logical line of conclusion. That makes no
because
sense
I
to me.
think you're, as an independent, you're really, and I'm surprised also that you as a Latino and as a brown person cannot really see this reality.
That's
we already have
racist crap right there.
No,
Oh
you
my
are a
God.
Latino and a
Yeah.
brown person.
So I grew up in Los
And you're
Angeles.
independent. It's all good. It's all good. It's all right. It's
I grew
gonna
up
be
in
fine.
Los Angeles in the 90s. And I saw your website. It says that we have to make education, it's racist, and all this justice stuff.
No,
So
say
I grew up.
what it is. Don't be tossing shit around when you don't know, because you're asking me to be
It's on your
I wouldn't
website.
okay, just say it, but just express it what
I
it is.
said it.
Okay, no, like on quotes. Go ahead.
You want me to read your website on
I
the
mean,
live?
if you want to toss around what I'm saying, it better be
Is
the
education
facts.
racist? I mean, is education racist?
Inherently? Like in general?
In any sense that you want to
No, please clarify, because that's a very big question.
Okay. Do you think education is racist? For, let's say, okay,
On what
for poor people.
sense?
For in any sense, is education
Are you
racist
trying
in any
to are
sense?
you trying to say that education is disproportionately what?
I'm not saying anything. I'm asking you if it's racist.
But how? Like I'm not.
In any
your
sense of the
question
way.
doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make sense. Is education racist? Okay. Do we need more equitable education for poor
I believe so.
people?
Yeah.
Okay. How so?
Well,
So, for
because
instance, I grew up here in the 90s, and I went to school with everybody else, and I
okay.
learned the same thing everybody else learned. So, what about my upbringing didn't give me the same benefit that everyone else has?
Well, you as a being as a person of
Doesn't
Latino descent.
matter what color I am. I went to the same school.
I'm
Did she just end the live? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Everybody, I am going to, she literally just ended the live. I am going to have people join via this. We're going to try to bring some people into this live stream. And we're going to talk about this. I'm sending this live stream to people right now. This is insane. This is insane. Let's try to get this. Okay, I got Gentry in here. Gentry, what the heck just happened? Oh my God, I got you.
I don't know.
I was.
She kind of is calling him a racist right now.
Oh my God. I am so. I am just in awe right now. I want to get Fabian here. I'm hoping Fabian joins so we can get his reaction to this. Because I just cannot believe. So here's what was going on, everybody. I think I'm getting a little bit of feedback from you, just so you know, too, Gentry. Maybe I'm wrong. He might be having some connectivity issues. But everybody, if you're just joining, no matter where you're watching from, here's what just happened. So we were all supposed to be interviewing this liberal Marxist running for Los Angeles City Council. That was the original plan. And then all of a sudden, oh, she's not gonna interview with all of us. She'll only go with Fabian, who's a part of Breakaway. Well, and then she does part of that interview, and then she ends it. Out of nowhere, she ends it. And so now I'm trying to figure, this is insane. So that's why this whole thing has been kind of a cluster, because this was not the plan. But this is what the liberals and the left do. This is what the liberals and the left do. Gentry, I think you might be having some connectivity issues, bud. But I'm trying to get you in here. Oh my gosh. Gentry, I can't get you in here, bud. But we're going to try to. And I'm also going to edit my settings, make sure we can have any guest send this to anywhere. You should be able to join this. Yeah, send this to your own streams. Gentry, that doesn't seem to be working. But once it starts working, I'll make sure we get you in there. Oh my gosh. There we go. He said, hang on. Okay, we're going to get you in here. Okay, I'm still getting some feedback from you, but I am so...
I think I'm in.
I am so confused. I want to get Fabian in here too.
I know. I know.
Maybe you are a pregnant woman, you're about to give birth. You are,
I cannot believe this. I'm hearing it all on your side right now.
Oh, is that bad?
No, it's fine.
Okay,
It's just like I could just hear it. I'm trying to. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe. So, just the whole timeline of all of this is exactly as you predicted. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but you predicted each and every, like, before anybody went live, you predicted all of this, exactly what was going to happen.
I did, didn't I? She was going to wimp out. I'm actually really impressed that she's talking to Fabian like this. I mean, I don't know. It's just insanity. She basically said like remember who you are, and he's like, I'm an American. He's like, no, you're Mexican. Look at your skin color. Look at your last name.
Are they back together again right now?
What do you mean?
Like, did they start a new live, or is it over?
I mean, I'm still watching it.
Oh, mine said that it ended.
No, mine's still on.
On whose account?
On Fabian's.
Gotcha.
Look at this. Look at this. It's just right here.
Mine said that it ended.
Maybe she kicked you out. Maybe
I think she
you.
did. Oh my gosh.
Holy
okay,
cow.
well, I think she blocked. She can't have blocked me. I think she ended me because I'm following her right now. Maybe she blocked. Let me try one of my other. I have 2 accounts, so she will not keep me out.
My lights just flickered, so I might lose power.
Gotcha.
So if that happens, like, I'm gonna just.
I'm gonna try to get back. She must have blocked me. She blocked me from being in that live. She kicked me from that live. That's insane. We're going to get back in here. Gentry obviously left. We're going to, oh my gosh, we are going to make sure I get into this. We're going to, Gentry, I'm so, oh my gosh, Aura. She is still alive. She kicked me out of it. That's insane.
And if the majority of the people in California want to opt for Democrats, that's their right.
But that's not the question. The question is, do you think it's smart to have all the power in one party?
No, not
Okay.
necessarily. And I don't also believe in a two-system party either. I think we should have more.
Okay, so do you think we should have more Republicans in the city council?
If that's what the community that
But
they
what
serve
what do you
wants, they
think?
should.
What do you think?
I think people should choose what they
But
want.
that's not my question. My question: do you think? Do you, as a council remember, as a councilman,
You
you
know,
have to
like,
make hard. You see, here's the thing.
I don't get to choose as a
I didn't ask you if you
councilwoman
chose.
or as a governor or as a senator or anybody in government does not get to choose what people chose for themselves.
I'm asking what you, as an individual, I'm asking you specific questions.
I'm answering you.
The people.
People
You see,
should choose who they
as
want
a
to
council
choose.
member,
And if that's a Green Party person, they should choose Green Party people too.
If you are a city council person and you're voting on things, do you vote on it, or do you say, well, I don't know, whatever the people want, let's just ask everybody?
Sometimes.
And
Sometimes
how
you
do
have
you
to.
how do you do that? Do you ask everyone? Do you take a vote?
One of the main things about, for example, community, or one of the main principles about community organizing is bringing people together and hear the needs are. I'll give you an example.
No, but I'm saying
right now it's very hot. Right now, for example,
it's very hot.
It's very hot right now. I'm giving you this example. Listen to my example.
It's hot.
Fabian,
like in real life.
I'm trying to tell you. You let me speak, bro. Let me talk. So let me tell you what's going on. For example, here in my district, there are some gates. Maybe you have seen them on Pico. They block almost a one radius of like 1 mile radius of the street. You cannot cross. It's like a wall. You know, they created it for many, like in the 90s.
Your microphone.
They created it many years ago, and I was interviewed about it. And my question was like, oh, why, you know, why the gates don't let people through? Like, we all pay taxes. It's your tax money too, and it's my tax money too. I was like, why don't they even open like a little door or something for people to cross or walk? And that's why I said it was a very hot topic right now in my community, because some people felt, you know, like, oh, you want, and I wasn't even insinuating to open the gates or not. I was wondering why with our tax money, the gates were there, not allowing people to get through, you know, and people having to go around and, you know, all these things. So, you know, as in my belief, what I did was bring the people together and ask, what do you guys want to do about it? And right now there's a big, you know, kind of discussion around what to do, you know, about the gates. So this isn't a dictatorship, and you as an independent should agree with me about this. This is a democracy where people get to choose and where people get their voice.
It's a constitutional republic. People always say democracy. It's not a democracy. A democracy is people choose directly for everything. We have representatives.
That is true. That is true, though. I mean, one of the most you know, challenging things, at least for me, in at the national level, is the fact that you have delegates. You don't have a system where you can vote and your vote directly counts, especially at the national level. That will still have, you know, delegates and this other system that some people understand, some people don't, and that it's just, to me, is a detriment, you know, because then your vote doesn't get to count in some places.
Yeah. I have two quick questions for you, because I know you have to go on your next interview. One of them is, do you believe in reparations for Black people?
I do. And the way that I believe in reparations for Black people,
Asian people, or anyone else?
Well, they didn't come here as slaves. If anybody also deserves reparations, is indigenous folks too, which were here before all of us, and we really took their land.
Was California ever a slave state?
I'm sorry?
Was California ever a slave state?
A slave state. Let me think. California, we were before Mexico. Before Mexico, we were.
This is an easy question.
A slave state. Well, people came here escaping slavery.
Okay, let me just answer. The question is
literally
no.
not
California
true.
was never a
This
slave
woman is
state.
an idiot.
So you want to give reparations to only Black people and not anyone else. Got it. So the other question I would ask is, number one, I want to thank you for being on because
God, I am
you know,
livid.
not everyone
You
has
guys
the balls to
can't
do it.
tell.
I know you came from Colombia, and I saw that your dad was a community organizer, and I think he was probably organizing against the government, right? Because they were doing a lot of bad things. You said that on your website it says that your dad was a community organizer, and
Yeah.
like, yeah,
He
and
was a community leader.
okay, and he was organizing against, like, I know the government of Colombia was really bad back then.
I saw my parents organize around things like getting books for kids that didn't have books, opening after school programs. They opened the Rotary Club. They, you know, my mom used to cook empanadas. I'm sure you know what that is, and to, you know, to fundraise money for mostly to support like kids.
Okay.
So I grew up kind of seeing them doing those things mostly.
Okay. And my last question for you is, because this is actually a very important question, what's your favorite amendment of the Constitution and why?
My favorite amendment is probably the, you know, like the freedom of speech, because
Which number is that, sweetheart? Come on.
We got really into it very quickly, but you know, I come from a place where even though we perceive very similar to this country, you perceive that you have the liberty to say what you want. The difference in Colombia is that sometimes the things that you say can get you killed. A lot of activists, a lot of people that they're not even against the government or anything like that. A lot of people just die from speaking their truth. And maybe in this country might not be seen like, you know, sometimes we have the liberty to say what we want. But look, you and I were sitting here with very different views, and you still were able to speak your mind, and I was able to speak my mind, and nobody's here like trying to kill me in my door.
So
that's
interesting that you said the first. So you believe that anyone can say anything about anyone that they want.
I mean,
but she blocked me.
You know what is
what
part of our constitution, you know, in this country, is part of the ethos of what, like the founding fathers of this country, you know.
Okay, so
and sometimes it doesn't favor me, but it's you know, it is what it is.
So if I misgender someone and I say I don't care, I'm going to call you whatever I want, that's okay with you?
Well, I mean, I might not like it, but it's just the you know, it's the what do you call it, the law, basically. It's our agreements as a nation. Maybe you don't like to call, maybe I don't want you to call me curly hair, whatever, X, Y, and Z, or maybe you don't like me to call you, I don't know, whatever it is. But you know, but it's
what's going on, man?
Right, even when I don't, and people use some strong words, right?
Like,
they use like the N word that I don't want to say. They use in both sides, in all sides. Actually, I've seen it. You know,
I can't even watch this on Instagram because she blocked me 3 times.
People get to say these things, which is important. In other places, you call somebody the N word and they take a gun and kill you right in there, and it is, you know, it's also like impunity. So
all right, and so let me finish off by something I do agree with you, is the democracy dollars or democracy vouchers, whatever you want to call them, to get, and this is on your website, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
I'm an advisor to the democracy vouchers.
Okay, well, I mean, I want to thank you for your time. I know you have something in a few minutes, so I want to come again. I want to thank you for bringing me.
Well, you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk about the democracy vouchers. That's like my favorite.
Oh, well, we have a few minutes left.
We have 6 minutes that we can maybe talk about. But one of the reasons, so, you know, this is not the first time I run. I ran also in 2020. And one of the biggest issues that I was confronted with was money in politics. Big money in politics.
That she's
dark money in politics, you know, and
like having
don't say that.
Like NGOs and stuff.
I said it anyways.
Oh yeah, don't be naive. This is politics. This is the second largest city in the country.
Wait.
And people are trying to get empowered. I'm talking about real money.
Is the largest
real
NGO in the world.
Money, friend. And politics. Okay, in any case,
Open
let me
Society
focus.
is the largest NGO in the world.
Let
You know
me
that. You know
focus
that, right?
back. I
Okay.
know, but when I talk about big money in politics,
It doesn't get bigger
sometimes
than
it's not the nonprofits that are you know, the
No,
undercurrent.
there's
So
an
there,
NGO. Open Society Foundation is the largest donor around the world.
sure.
That's a
And
fact.
I invite everyone to go to ethics. Let me get you the website so you guys can see who is donating where. Maybe you know, and I'm sorry if I'm telling you this again, but if you go to ethics.lacity.org, you can go to any candidate that is running for city council and see who's donating to them. And also, while you're there, cruise by the independent expenditures, because that's the real big fun money. That is not what you're referring to, but I appreciate you bringing it up. So
Would you
in
accept a donation
2020,
from us? Would you
in
accept a donation
2020,
from
I'll
Open
answer
Society
your
Foundation?
question. I'll answer your question when I finish with my first question. So in 2020, I ran and I was confronted by the big money in politics.
And
you know,
who
and
is that? Like who would you
a
say that
lot,
is? Like
a
what?
lot of in my days was a lot of the developers were big. A lot of unions, believe it or not, a lot of the unions they give a lot of money to local candidates when they support you.
Pro-union or anti-union?
I'm pro union. I'm pro the coming together and organize.
But just not their. But because you said that their money was big money.
Yeah,
Politics, and you said that
because
wasn't good.
in the political system and the local level, unions have a big say in
And you say
what
that's bad for them
happens.
to have a big say.
I don't know if it's bad for them to have a big say. The thing is that they invest so much money in the candidates that they support, so it doesn't create a level
So you
play
think that's
field. So
bad?
with this democracy vouchers, I like to be like you. I'm not an independent, but like you, I like to have independence with my funding, because then it allows me to really act for the people, for the everyday people.
And
So for
I'm
me,
gonna ask you something.
with when democracy vouchers came about as something that we could do, it was no brainer, because I was like, if we give back the power to the people, maybe people will get more involved. Maybe candidates like myself that are grassroots will have the chance to have a chance to win.
My last question. This is a very important question. It's a very general question, and I ask everyone this: from everything that you said, all your positions, right? Everything that you believe, and it's on your website, and that you talked about, from 0 to 100%, how correct do you think you are in that your positions are the right ones, from 0 to 100?
I mean, I'm very humble, and I don't think that all my positions are correct, and they're not a flavor for everybody. That's for sure. So I am always remain very flexible, because again, I'm here to work for the people, at least for the people in my district. So what I strive to do is I offer some solutions, some ideas, but I'm hoping that they give me enough feedback to say, Aura, we love this, we don't love that. And we can, and that's what I think, again, back to the First Amendment, is what makes this country and this, in running for me as an immigrant, as a person that has an accent, as a woman, dynamic and exciting. Because like I said, there are other places where just me speaking about these things will get me killed,
Yeah.
So I'm very flexible.
Yeah. One of the issues I have is that you always.
But I'm not wishy-washy, which is different.
That's good. Well, you're
No,
Colombian.
just
flexible, but
dumb.
not wishy-washy.
You're just dumb, woman. You don't
one
have
of
to
the
be
things that
wishy-washy. You can be
annoys me about the
wishy-washy,
language,
but you're not.
is
You're
that
just
when
stupid.
you just said I'm a woman with an accent, and earlier you said I'm brown. Poor people. This is when you put everyone in their own box and you say you're more oppressed than you are, and so you get more money, or you're black and you live in California, so you're going to get money just for being a skin color. That's very divisive. We live in America. We all came to America because they were doing something right. And to say that we need to change America completely, you're basically saying I came here because things were good, but now let me change everything because I believe in my head that I know a better way to do it than the founding fathers did. That is what I think is pride. It's very prideful. I think that what they envision should be what we always take into consideration: individuality, small government, no taxes. You know that there wasn't taxes in America until World War.
Oh my God, no taxes would be amazing. Are you kidding? I pay like 30 of my money on taxes because I don't have children. And
Well, the problem is if
a
there were no
lot.
taxes, you wouldn't be able to hire all these public employees. So you have to pick which one you want.
I know.
You know?
And that's often the challenge, you know. But what I tell people when people tell me, "Oh, how would I pay so much taxes when I go door knocking in my area?" I always tell them, I'm like, it's cool we pay taxes if our taxes are getting us what we deserve.
But they never
you
do
look
because
around,
you're
the streets are
flipping.
trashy. I drive a motorcycle. I go on my motorcycle every day. My back is all fucked up because there's potholes everywhere.
The
You
taxes
can hardly
never
see when
do,
you
and
walk
this is
around
why
on
your
the street.
ideology is
Like, believe
stupid,
me,
woman.
you and I, a lot of us, and you actually are a lot more similar in a lot of ways than you think. Because, like you, I also believe that my taxes should be invested in the right in things that are in my benefit, because
But
that's
they
what we
never
pay taxes.
do.
You know.
Are you a fan of George Gascon and Zero Bail?
George Gascon, just full disclaimer, is somebody that I know, personally.
Good.
So
and
and the no bail. I mean, the no.
Wait. So do you agree with the Zero Bail policy and what he's doing in Los Angeles?
Gonna say the no bail, again, is trying to level a play field that it's just the execution is being very poor. It's being poorly executed.
I'm glad you agree with me on that one. Do you think that he should be out as the district attorney next term, and we bring in someone like Hockman or Hatami or someone else?
I've been, I actually have a podcast similar to yours, maybe less aggressive or more neutral, more just like, tell us. It's just trying to get people in the audience ask questions and things. But I didn't get to interview any of them because I'm running my own campaign, and I'm really focused on that. But I think there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of opportunities and choices, out there. I think George Gascon tried to do something very, very fast, poorly executed, I don't think he had bad intentions, but I think that it was just the execution. It's been just,
it sounds like you're saying we need someone else.
It's like intent versus impact. And I'm going to leave you with that. Sometimes we have the best intentions, but the impact is poor, or is bad.
I would have been cool with him saying, you guys, you know what? We screwed up. Things are getting horrible. Like, everything is bad. I can't remember. Horrible. Let me change, right? But instead, what does he do? He calls Newsom, hey, buddy. Remember, he was DA of San Francisco, where property crime increased 50%. They weren't prosecuting property crimes anymore. And now he comes down here and he does something similar. So at some point, you have to say, it's not the person, it's whatever his idea is and the pride that he has, and not changing. Like you said, you learn from things. Like, sometimes you might be wrong, but you learn. This is someone who doesn't seem like he's doing that, and that's because he's funded by George Soros, and that's a fact, unfortunately.
You see, I think you've been on ethics more than me.
I have not been, but I do know that he's funded by George Soros.
And to educate everybody that is here, even though you and I might be like in different spectrums of things for certain things. If you go, again, I'm going to repeat it, ethics.lacity.org, you get and even how you spend, for me too, and even how you spend the money. So, whoever's donated money, you see it there, and you also see who have I hired or
except for Act Blue, it's pumping in a ton of donations.
So I encourage everyone,
with
if you
gift
are into
cards,
transparency,
and they're scamming
this
people,
is a good
and they're
place
using
to
people.
look into. Where is your money going? Like Open Secrets also is another place, more at the national level, but at the local level, ethics. And everyone that you see, any flyer that you see, it should have the disclaimer somewhere visible. And so something for you to think about.
So let me give you my closing thoughts on you, on how I perceive you to be. I like the environment. I like the environment too. What I don't like is how
you believe in climate change.
No. Well, sorry. Yes, the climate has always been changing since we've been on Earth. And
don't let her control the conversation, Fabian.
A lot of people don't understand what even climate is. Climate is about 30 years worth of weather. The weather is what is tomorrow and yesterday. Climate is about a 30-year block in that weather and the changes. And the weather, since the beginning of Earth, because we know we've drilled in Antarctica, have cores, the weather's gone like this: ice age, mini ice age, ice age. Anyway, besides the point, I like that you like the environment. We all like the environment. We didn't get into cloud seeding and weather modification, which is a very important thing. I don't know how long we have, but you may know that the Santa Ana Water Project District is now injecting acetone and silver iodine into our air. And I was speaking with some people up north. Trees are falling over and dying randomly. They tested the soil, and you may want to know this, and I can put you in contact with them. They tested the soil around the trees, and it has silver iodide that is being released from the cloud seeding. So as an environmentalist, you're in a big predicament, because if those things are killing the environment, you should say, hey, we need to stop modifying the weather. 100%. That stuff going in our lungs is terrible. If you look up silver iodide poisoning, it's cancer, brain tumors, lung harmful for the lungs, many things. So that's something I can send you more information on. They're in the pilot phase right now. It's all over Riverside and everywhere, and they're trying it.
I actually have to admit that I have heard of this from other fellow environmentalists, you know, that are alarmed. The same with the chemtrails and, you know, other. My main, just to be completely transparent, my main focus has been more on local, you know, very tangible. Like we have neighborhood oil drilling, you know, people drilling oil.
Local, it's happening.
No, I know, but what I mean is like ultra local to, you know, my area, because obviously I've been very, but you know, when I used to do more national work and stuff, like we used to always hear things very unsettling, you know, about our planet, about what's happening to our planet.
You can be, so the way I look at it is you can eat the best food, which is very expensive.
Oh,
the live ended? Did she block me? Is it still going?
I don't know. She might have blocked you again.
Or was that an hour? Because that could have been an hour.
I don't think it was an hour.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think she might have blocked me again. Hopefully, it's got to be soon that we get Gentry in here. Major block. Oh my God. That's the second time.
So wait. She blocked me 3 times and you twice. 5 blocks. And she blocked David.
It's just block after block after block. I hope we can get, because it seems like they're going to wrap up soon. And so I'm hoping that we can get Fabian in here real quick after they're done so that we can recap that.
David 4 times. David has 4 accounts?
Oh my God. Blocked me 4 times. That's insane. David, you should join this live. I know you have the link. I sent it in the chat. David, so you could totally join.
Hop on, man.
You should definitely hop on, David. Because, oh my God, I cannot believe this. We go to talk to one lefty, and she is like the biggest drama queen.
We're not even on the live.
I know. We're not even on her live, and it took her a while to block me too, because like I hadn't commented in like at least 10 minutes.
Did anybody record that whole thing? I hope Fabian did.
I hope he'll probably get a copy of that recording, but I got a lot of it. I know on my channel, but I cannot believe that. Oh my God. Do I have any other accounts that are signed in on my phone at least even? I gotta see. That's insane. So we're getting like all of it from this woman. No, that's I only have 2 of my accounts on there. Man.
Well, dude,
4 times.
I feel like that's a badge of honor.
Oh,
well done, Fabian, by the way. Like that, he did a fantastic job.
You know, absolutely. He, from everything that I saw, he did a great job holding his own. I mean, that was not the plan. We were planning, like everybody, just so you know, no matter where you're watching from, our plan for this was to go in and say things like, why are you running for city council? Have a conversation. Yeah, maybe let it get a little bit heated, but have a conversation. And then she goes through this whole rigmarole, which I know is a funny saying, but
I called it right away, didn't I?
You did. You did from the very beginning. Gentry was like, yeah, she's going to bail. It's not going to work out. It's going to be one of the most confusing things in the world. And that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened, everybody.
I am pretty stoked, though, that she did stay on for as long as she did. I'm not stoked that she kept blocking us. And
I know.
we called her
Take
out
the
every
heat.
time. We called her out every time.
Like, she needs to learn how to take the heat. Honestly, I don't think my whole account is blocked from her. I think I just got blocked from the live, which means what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to her account and make it so that she has to block me, because I'm going to comment on her stuff and just be like, hey, yo, you are a piece of crap. No, she is like, huh?
Let's see if I'm like blocked.
I'm not blocked from the full on account. I'm only blocked from
What's her
seeing
at?
the live stream. Her @ is at Aura, AURA VASQUEZ official.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. I cannot believe that she would block people like that. Everybody, no matter where you're tuning in from right now, make sure, if you can, please go check out my show on YouTube at Speechless with Kev. I'll pull up. I can do this real quick. But yeah, you could look Speechless with Kev Phares right there. It's real cute. And I can even pull up this lower third so you can see that's me. And I'd appreciate it if you guys went and checked me out and like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. But let's bring Gentry back in here. Hopefully Fabian comes in soon. I'm going to be off of here within the next like 30-ish minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. But I want to see if we can get Fabian's reaction to all of this, because wow, what a spicy night it has been with this leftist from Los Angeles, the shithole and rat infested place that it is.
Is she actually grassroots? Or was she lying about that?
Well, that's one thing. So she said, go look up on Open Secrets. Let's go look her up on Open Secrets. I can do that right now.
Ethics dot something. Open
No,
Secrets, I think, is like the national one.
Oh, gotcha. Well, let's go see.
Well, no, actually, go look on Open Secrets too, because it could be she's getting some national money. Fabian just texted. I'm telling him to join the StreamYard. Well, I said stream hard. Oops. Join the stream hard.
All right, I'm trying to load it right now. This is insane. He should be able to stream this to, like you are to your Twitter. He should be able to stream this to his.
Yeah, I didn't know that I could just like stream straight to my Twitter, which that's pretty cool.
All right, he said he should be joining soon, so I'll keep an eye out for it. Hopefully he'll add, and we'll get his thoughts and his reactions. Let's see if he's joining anytime soon. Everybody stay tuned, because this is going to be great. When
It's
we
going
can
to be
get here.
One of the craziest things. Yo, did you see this thing that Dom Lucre posted?
No, I didn't see it. What is it?
It looks like it's George Floyd on an Instagram Live.
Dom who?
I'm going to send it to you.
All right. Send it to Speechless Cav.
All right. It should be coming your way.
All right. Let's see if Fabian's joining anytime soon, because we got to get his reaction on all this.
All right. Pull this up and see what this looks like, because it's like.
All right. We got
weird.
a special guest about to join here, though. Let's see what. It looks like he's still getting his stuff ready. Once he's actually ready, we got to get. Oh, man. Oh, it's like Rocky Balboa right after the fight. He looks like he's still.
Post-game interview.
It's a post-game interview.
Seriously. Wait, we should have David join.
The link is there. David is more than welcome to join if he would like. We got to get this post-game interview, though. Fabian, are you there? Looks like he's trying to join. I'm gonna keep him out though. We'll get him in there once we can. Woof. After the fight.
What an absolute beauty, as Mike would say. What a beauty.
Here we go. My dude.
My guy. The champion himself, the champion of LA.
Oh my god.
That was frustrating, man.
Center stage right there. Let's do it.
Oh man.
By the way, hold on. We're live on X or?
We're live on all of my platforms and Gentry's platforms. You should be able to add your own too.
Okay. Can you send me a link to wherever you're live and I'll put it on my IG?
Yeah,
and
sure.
Hold on. Let me raise my camera up a little bit. 1 second.
The man of the hour. He's heated, man. You can just tell. That guy is all right.
There's that. I can also send like our Twitter one too if you want that.
All right, fellas. Yeah, shoot me the link and I will
I just sent some of them to
okay.
to our group chat.
Okay.
So no matter where you guys are tuning in from, just another recap of what's kind of going on here. Originally, the plan, as it was pitched, was that Fabian, myself, and Gentry would be interviewing this candidate for LA City Council, who is essentially a neo-Marxist, democratic socialist, communist. And we were all supposed to just have a nice conversation about why she's running and maybe some disagreements, understanding why she thinks she'd be different, a lot of things like that. But as we started to go live, as we started to try to make this happen, she was first like, it's not working. There's too many technical difficulties. No, Fabian, actually, you joined mine. So then it excludes Gentry and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fabian and her go toe-to-toe in one of the best brawls of social media live streams I have ever seen. And I'm surprised not only that she stayed on so long, but also with how well, Fabian, you were able to adjust given the insane circumstances of it all.
You know, I felt like I was interviewing the Flat Earther. I interviewed the head of the Southern California Flat Earth Society, and when people say things in real time that are so out of like reality, it's hard to wrap. In real time, you have to understand what they're saying and think about how ridiculous it is what they're saying, and then come up with a response. So, for instance, he says, "I don't believe in gravity." Like, how do you answer someone that says, "I don't believe in gravity"? Right? It's pretty obvious. So, that's some of the things I was going through. But and then I was just trying to get an answer out of her. She was giving me the political talking points, and I was just, I kept saying, "Hey, that's not going to work. Like, I want real answers. I told you this is real talk." And Sunrise Movement type of people, ultra leftist, neo-Marxist. But the thing with her is, I feel like, so she came from Colombia. I understand why she's the way she is, but like, open your mind. Don't just keep eating what you're being spoon-fed by these people. Like, you have to think independently. And there was nowhere that I saw independence in what she was telling me. There was no idea that she had that was independent, that was like unique. Everything is talking points, climate change, this, oh, people, we got to, this and that. It was all the same leftist talking points I hear. So that's what I came away from it. And she also, apparently she didn't understand what racism means. So that's something else too.
Yeah. At one point, she was like, look at your skin color, look at your last name, like, remember who you are and vote like that. Do you remember when she said that?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, so did I read different books than white kids did in school? Like,
for real? No, it was insane. She was saying it as if like that you were, and this is what I just had a conversation with Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, on my channel about a week ago, and he was saying, I asked him because he's a black man, and I said, Ty, have you, like, the left will always say that white supremacy is such a big deal. So I asked him, it's Black History Month, have you felt racism? And he said the most racism he's ever felt have been people that share his own skin color. other black people that say that he's a race traitor, that he should be voting a certain way because of the color of his skin, because of how he's born, that because he is more conservative, because he tends to lean towards the Republican side, that he is in some way defective.
Yeah.
And this
And,
is
you know,
exactly what this candidate for city council did.
that's she tried to do that to me. And I was like, hold on, because she's been here since 2009. Okay. Which is not, I mean, in the scheme of things, not very long.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know. I know she blocked you guys, but at the end, I'm like, you know, one thing I can't stand that you did is you try to say, oh, you were Latin, so you were oppressed and stuff like that. I'm like, you think you're going to bring people together when you say that only black people should have reparations? I asked her, I said, was California ever a slave state? And you know what she said? She's like, let me think about that. I know it was before Mexico and blah, blah, blah. I said, look, it wasn't. So what are you saying? Asians don't get it. Latins don't get it. Like, and you're trying to bring people together? Like, come on. And I asked her what her favorite amendment was, and she said the first. I said, really? I was like, so I can misgender you on purpose and say, I don't care, I'm going to call you whatever I want? And she was like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but I said, okay, well, at least we agree on something, which I don't think she really agrees on it, but she said that just in front of the cameras.
Well, there's that. I think the other thing that's important to note, at least when I mean, unless she said it when I was blocked or something, but she didn't even say the First Amendment. She said the freedom of speech, which I think was important because your question was, what is your favorite amendment? And she wasn't able to name what number it was. And there was a lot of
catch that, but now
and there was a lot of instances where the things that she would say, just as much as she used the talking point of, oh, we're a democracy. Well, and then you pointed out correctly that we're a constitutional republic. She had a lot of instances which her ability to actually state fundamentals of American civics were not really there.
No.
And this is a person that once again is going to isn't LA County the largest populated county? I'm sorry,
11 million.
City.
11 million.
LA, the city, is like the second largest city in the United States. It's New York, LA, and Chicago.
I believe so.
And
yeah.
So she's going to try to represent a district in the second largest city in the United States, and she can't even at least demonstrate an educated level of American civics.
Yeah, and you know, I went after her. I said, "Listen, that Sunrise Movement." I was like, "That is the most neo-Marxist leftist organization." I was like, "They're calling for." So I said, "You don't have to agree with them just because they have these talking points." But you know, once you're so far deep in it, I mean, and this is on both sides. This is on the conservative side as well. You know, everybody wants to fit in. It takes, you know, a real outlier, a real person to say, "Yeah, you know what? Like, I like you guys as people, but I don't agree with what you're saying." And they're counting on people like her just being scared into agreeing with them. Like climate reparations. Like, come on. How many times are you going to change language to say the same damn thing? Defund the police. She's like, well, they're already funded. You can't defund them. I said, okay, well, in your ideal world, would you defund the police? Didn't get an answer. Is there racism in education? What do you mean by that? I don't understand that. It's on our website. It says there is institutionalized racism in education. And she's like, do you know what that means? And I'm like, it's on your website. I was like, why don't you tell me what it means? She's like, it means that institutions have racism. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's using the definition, or that's using the words of the definition to define the word.
Circular reasoning.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I couldn't get to. It was just that I wanted to, but she wouldn't say that Obama's saying Obama's movie, Don't Trust White People, that wasn't racist. That she didn't understand.
No, absolutely. Thank you, David, for the super chat. Anybody, thank you so much for tuning in. And David says, David, who's also somebody you guys should all go check out. He's massive on YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. Does amazing quality work, not only with Breakaway, but on his own. I'm tired of these Marxists. Great debate, Fabian. Love the analysis and the show. Fabian, how did it feel like in that moment? Because I've been in debates too before, and I know this is post-fight interview, Joe Rogan style almost, but like, how does it feel in that moment when she's coming at you? And I know you said a little bit, it's like you're trying to process it all at one moment, at 1 second. How are you feeling now afterwards? And how does it feel in that moment?
You know, that almost went the way I thought it was going to go, to be honest with you. It's just, it's so frustrating when people don't answer the damn question. And they skirt around the question over and over again. And you try to say the same question different ways, like those personality tests, right? Like, do you agree or do you disagree on how much? It felt a little bit like that. But and the reason why I was pressing her, because you're going to be a city council person of one of the or whatever top 2 largest cities in the entire country, right?
Mhm.
And if you can't make decisions, if you're trying to push everything off, then how am I, how am I going to trust you that at least you'll make a decision that's not influenced by the outside? I would have at least, I would have respected her more had she said, you know what? I believe Black people only should get racism because whatever reason. I was like, okay, at least you know what you're talking. I mean, at least you have an opinion on this. Not, I don't understand the question. Well, is there racism in education? What do you mean by that? And then her website literally says there's racism in education. So I'm just reading her website. So those are a few of the things that really annoyed me. And it was just the sheer amount of, I'm going to say stupidity because I think it is, the inability to think outside the box, the inability to have independent thoughts. Because I get it. She moved here in 09. She's a community organizer. So she's going to all these meetings, all these people. She's trying to make a name for herself in a new city. She's Colombian. She's from New York. So they're going to call her a carpetbagger. Comes here, fits in. And then now she's just a spitting image of whatever else the other lefties are. There's nothing unique about that person whatsoever. Nothing.
No, I absolutely saw that. I mean, there was a point, I know you weren't watching because you were in the live stream, but there was a point during this live stream on my channel where I threw the stool I am sitting on. I literally threw it because you were asking about taxes. You asked a pretty simple question. You were like, wouldn't you agree that government isn't really good at distributing our money? Why would you want to charge people more? And her whole thing was like, well, I agree that maybe some people don't, I can't even do her accent the way, but just like, maybe some people don't actually put the taxes in the right place. But like, if I were to be there, then maybe it would be in the right place. And I was just like, the problem that you're not seeing, the problem that none of these leftists see is so many of them will be like, yeah, the government doesn't work, but it would work if I was in charge. No, that's not the way that it works. The government doesn't work, period. And so when you sit there and you tell yourself that, oh, maybe if we just have the right people in charge. No, because even when you get the right people there, they will be corrupted by the power in which you have granted them to the point of which they're not going to serve you. I just talked about this with Mitch McConnell on my channel last night. At one point, he was talking about voter fraud. He was talking about irregularities in elections. And now all of a sudden he's worth $35 million after making $175,000 a year for just less than 40 years. There's no way that math adds up unless he's self-serving. And that's how government works.
Yeah. And the other thing that I kind of felt was that, like, it's really, I don't know if you talk to someone who just doesn't get it, but if you're trying to lead them, I like the Socratic method. So I ask broad questions and I get them to identify and say, yes, I generally agree with that broad statement. Okay, now we have a framework. Now let me ask you a slightly more specific question. You lead them to water, you lead them to the answer. But if they can't even understand or refuse to understand the general question, then you can't even lead them because they don't want to be led, or because they understand that there's a bunch of people watching and they don't want to seem like, oh, okay, yeah, let me actually learn from this person because he might have something that I can learn from, right? So when I said a very simple thing, like you said, do you think the government is the best person to you spend your money or whatever? That should be a pretty simple question to ask if you're all pro-government. You should say, yes, that's why I want more taxes. But she even says, oh, I pay 30% taxes. And I'm like, oh, like you're not really getting what I'm talking about. Like you agree with me, but you don't understand that you agree with me because you don't even know what you really believe yourself. If it's not in the talking points, then you can't even talk about it.
Exactly. And so then we have commenters like this who will come in and say, well, she said that Angelinos were not getting their money's worth. The point of what I was saying is that you'll never get your money's worth when you entrust the government with more of your money.
The government does not create anything.
Exactly. The solution is not throwing more money at the government. It's giving the money back to the people and entrusting them that they know what's best with it. Giving more of them. Yes, okay, we might need the government to take money for the purpose of roads. But what happens when you give them too much money? Even your roads don't get fixed. Check out Illinois. You'll see how that works. I live there.
Or LA right here.
Exactly.
Horrible.
Our roads are terrible. Oh, but don't worry. The illegal immigrants get housed in hotels. How that works, I don't understand.
One of the things is, and she kept touching on this, which it really annoyed me, was try to put me in a box as we were talking about, right? But
Mhm.
the entire leftist idea that we know more than you, so give us the power. The elites at these like Berkeley and Santa Rosa and all these other colleges, it's literally saying, hey, everyone who's not us, we know more than you. You're dumb. Give us all your money. We know how to use it better than you, right? We know better than you. You're black, brown. Oh, you know what? Poor thing. We're gonna spread your money out. We're gonna give you a little bit more, right? Like this super obsessive mother who thinks she knows everything, that won't even let you go outside and play. That's why I kept pushing individualism, right? Individual, unique ideas, Americans. I said at the end, I said, you came here because you wanted a free life because you could do whatever you want. Like, let people do whatever the hell they want. Stop trying to put them into a box, because you're never going to unite anybody saying the same lines. Oh, and when she said, what did she say? That really pissed me off. She said something about like low income. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what specifically do you mean by that?
Oh, I
And
was
she said,
watching. Yeah, I tuned in right around there. When I switched from one account that was blocked to one that was unblocked, I got into that.
yeah. So she said, oh, I said, well, what specifically do you mean? Because there's general low income. Everyone says the same stuff, same talking points. What do you specifically mean by low income? Well, if you spend more than 30% of your money on food or something, I forgot what she said. I said, so then what percentage of the total population is living like that? Of course you couldn't answer, because it doesn't fit the narrative of like brown, black, and whatever minority people. And and then she said, oh, in the very beginning, she said that black people live by freeways because it's lower income, so they get more pollution. I'm like, what in the hell is she talking about? Like, I live right by the 101. Like, do I get money because I'm breathing more pollution? And how far does the pollution go? Like, I get it. It's this environmentalist, oh, blah, blah, blah. Let's do meditation and do sound wave baths and stuff like that. But in the real world, it really doesn't make any sense.
How was your last sound wave bath, Fabian? How was your last sound wave bath?
Never had one, but I'll tell you what, the Russians love those sound baths. The Russian women in LA, you go to the beach and they're walking on nail boards in the beach. They're hitting gongs. Oh, it's crazy. It's a whole thing. Yeah, you go to Runyon Canyon and they're like meditating and hitting gongs, and they legit have nail boards, little like coals that they walk over and do sound baths. I don't even know how to take a sound bath. But
I thought that
know.
was just like when you turn your speakers really loud in your car after a long day at work. Like, that's what I always considered a sound bath. Like,
as long as it's AC/DC, then it works.
I don't know. Gentry, what's your take on all this?
I called it right up front that she was going to have some connectivity issues, make it up, and then not let us on, or just cancel last minute. I am impressed that she went for so long. She did a really good job of making herself look really stupid, and I'm a little bit upset that she blocked me, because I was actually screen recording it, and so we can get some content, but it just kept blocking me. So like, I don't even know if it's usable, because she kept like the good parts are later on. So Fabian, I thought you did a fantastic job, and you didn't let her control the conversation at all. You were asking her questions. By the way, you were asking her questions from her website that she didn't have answers for. If I was running, so if and when I do run, I'm gonna have that just like down pat. I'm gonna be like Vivek, and I'm gonna have an answer to every single question, especially ones that are on my website.
Well,
Like,
here's
if you
the
can't
thing.
even if you can't even answer that like there's institutional racism in school, and she's like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, if you would have asked me, I would have done something like, oh well, you probably saw that on your website, or my website, and here's what I mean by this, and does that answer your question? Right?
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
So here's the thing too, and this is what I tell people. So I do a little bit of political consulting on the side, and everybody always wants to have this massive website. Now, I'm not necessarily against it, but everybody whenever they're running for office, left or right, they always want to have this massive website that has, oh, I want to have all these paragraphs on about the issues and everything like that. Look, if you have the time for that and you have the money for it, go for it. But you want to know what saves you time and money? A single page website in which it has a contact button, a donate button, and a volunteer button.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are all the things you really need. Your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram, maybe TikTok. those are really where you get your things about the issues out. And how do you do that? You take reels and videos of you saying it to the people.
Mhm.
And you know what that does is it makes it so that everything comes straight from your mouth. And then when you get a question about, hey, what's institutional racism in schools? What does that mean?
Mhm.
Then you have a flippant answer for it because you said it already on a different reel.
And I think that's
Hey,
why she asked me, well, read it off the website, because I'm pretty sure she didn't know what the website said. So
Exactly.
I like had to read it off the website. I'm like, dude, it says it on your website. Like, and
So
she played dumb when I asked her about the whole Obama thing, about said don't trust white people, about his new movie or whatever. She played that one off hard. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean,
so I am impressed though that she did share your same concern about the cloud seeding and the silver
yes,
iodine. I was
yeah,
really surprised about that.
that's something that you cannot mend with environmentalists and the globalists, whatever people who want to do this to control. You can't, there's no way to mend that unless you get them to completely flip from being environmentalists to being only saving the planet and screwing the humans. Now, there are some people that say, screw the humans, we got to save the planet, which I don't understand why. But anyway, there's really no way to mend those two things.
To those people, I say, you go first.
Yeah. Stop sucking up all the carbon.
Yeah, seriously.
Leave more for me.
No,
Drill, baby, drill.
I was looking into it and I was trying to figure out exactly how much money Aura Vasquez has. Because I went to this Los Angeles City Ethics Commission. And so if you look at it here, let me actually, I think I can pull it up, right? Because that's what you guys were talking about near the end, was how much money and everything like that.
Yeah, well, she didn't even know that George Soros. I brought up Open Society Foundation. She's like, "Oh, don't start talking." I'm like, "No. They're the biggest donor. They're the biggest NGO in the world. You understand that, right? This is not some." She's like, "Oh, yeah." So at least she agreed with me with that.
So if you look here, you can see that she has 128,000. Her expenditures, that's her contributions 128,000, expenditures 177,000. And this is a race that has near $1 million into it. If we look to her contributions here, it's interesting to me because to have that level of contributions and also claim to be grassroots, it's just weird to me that you would have. And for the most part, a lot of them are relatively small contributions here. We have 500, 100. I'm looking to see if there are any that nearing 1,000. This is Magna Consulting and Design.
Can you do it by column, like highest donation first? Or?
Let's see if I can do that. Amount. Well, she's got negative $900. There we go. You're so nearing.
Wait. Go back.
That
Sunrun. Isn't that the same? Isn't that the same organization that we're
Sunrise Movement? It might be other non-individual Sunrise Movement.
They committed. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's go to these ones though. Nearing 5,000 unitemized.
Monetary contribution. Interesting.
Yeah, that is
unitemized. All of her big donations, all the ones over $1,000 are unitemized.
I wish I had seen this before. That would have been a good one.
Who are these donors, Aura?
First semi. It's every quarter as well. Look, so recipient committee campaign statement. First quarter, first semi-annual, third quarter, fourth quarter, and then second quarter.
You're right.
Yep. Every quarter she gets the majority of her money from an unitemized, anonymous.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Ron Polk in the comments is saying, looks like our largest contributor spent about $5,000, hardly Soros dollars. You have no point, admit it. Ron, that comment is probably the stupidest comment I've ever seen in my life, if I'm being honest. Because if you have donations that are just tremendous amount of money, it's going to get flagged immediately. So what these guys do, and go watch go watch the James O'Keefe Act Blue video. Go to OMG and go watch his video, because he shows how they actually put tens of thousands of dollars into campaigns with other people's name and their accounts. It's an unbelievable story that he uncovered. Go watch James O'Keefe's Act Blue.
Well, the other thing I would add to that is the majority of the money that goes into elections are not given directly to the campaigns, because there's a limit. It's given to the PACs, and the PACs are what really drive the election. So, for instance, Ron DeSantis, his campaign didn't pay for that jet. It was donated by a PAC for Ron DeSantis. So that's where the money goes. That's where all the Soros money goes. Soros is not donating individually to campaigns like this. He runs everything to his foundation, Open Society Foundation, and then they have subsidiaries that they pay money to, and it's all PAC and NGOs. So.
No, there's because for Ron DeSantis, a lot of it was Never Back Down. That PAC funded a significant amount of pro DeSantis advertising and collection. I mean, like that's how there was a Students for DeSantis organization that was all organized by Never Back Down. Even when it comes to Trump, a lot of Trump is not just Trump campaign. I mean, back in 2020, Students for Trump and everything of the youth involvement was run by Turning Point Action. Now it's run by Today is America, I think. But it's all run by these outside organizations, because then they can pool funds and kind of, and it happens right with the left too. Like the left has Act Blue, they have Black Lives Matter, they have all these different organizations. So then what they can do is they can kind of bypass a lot of FEC guidelines and regulations when it comes to how much money they're able to take in from individual donors.
Right.
Yeah. That's where the big money's at.
So here's a perfect example of even how PACs and campaigns don't necessarily always talk to each other. So do you guys remember the RFK ad during the Super Bowl? And there was that. So there was an RFK Jr. ad during the Super Bowl, and it was funded by an RFK PAC. It wasn't his actual campaign. And so there was actually a little bit of backlash from it. And RFK had to go on his Twitter and say, hey, by the way, this wasn't from the campaign. This is from one of my super PACs, right? Or one of the super PACs that support me. So it wasn't an official campaign ad, right? And so sometimes these super PACs that are supporting these candidates, they don't always see eye to eye.
Yeah. Real quick, I'll actually pull it up here. I have that ad pulled up right
and
here.
I think a lot of times it's plausible deniability. So he could say, I had no idea. Like,
here's this ad real quick.
Oh, I saw this.
The ad uses the same exact song and imagery as his uncle JFK's ad from 1960.
It's actually
in response.
So I've actually I think they actually go through some more of the controversy here. I'll let it play.
Wait, people were mad at the ad?
Jr.'s cousin, Bobby Shriver, said that his mother, who was JFK's sister Eunice, would be appalled by RFK Jr.'s views on healthcare. And RFK Jr. himself apologized, saying that he was sorry if the ad caused any family members any pain. However, we don't really know how genuine that apology is, considering the fact that the ad is still pinned to the top of his X profile.
It was a great ad because that was such a catchy thing, and it goes back to a time. I mean, like I applauded the ad.
It was a great ad. Yeah.
Because all he did was he took one of the most viral ads in American history, which comes from the Kennedy campaign. And for anybody who doesn't know, back in the 1960s, this was a huge deal. It was the Kennedy versus Nixon election was the first election in which television played a major role. Many people point back to the 1960 debate between Nixon and Kennedy being the first televised debate ever to have happened. Those who listened to it on the radio believe Nixon did the best because his arguments and his articulation were phenomenal, while Kennedy looked a lot better. Nixon was sweaty and looked disheveled. So those who watched it believed that Kennedy had done an amazing job because he looked presentable. His arguments were less than impressive. Nixon, however, sounded great, looked like crap. And so at a time when television was really revolutionizing the political sphere, and that ad came on as a cartoon and as being just relatively entertaining to anybody of any age, fascinating. And then for RFK's PAC to use that, there was just a lot of political, I know I'm going on a rant here, but the political knowledge that it took to utilize that advertisement was genius. And he's genius, honestly, for keeping it pinned. And I don't care if that pissed any of his family off, because it was just a really smart move politically to use.
Yeah. So side note, I just saw something. So this Aaron Bushnell guy, the guy who lit himself on fire in the name of Palestine, we all know that they're going to try to George Floyd him, I guess, for lack of a better term, right? Make him into this like amazing martyr and create copycats to really raise awareness or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to send you this, Kevin, so you can pop it up on screen.
Yeah,
This
I can do that.
fitness influencer tattooed the name Aaron Bushnell on his face. And he says, with this face tattoo, I honor your life and courage.
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
It's on
this
his
up.
chin and sideburn.
So on my channel, if anybody's tuning in on YouTube at Speechless Kev, I just had a video that was released tonight about this whole situation, in which I show it's an 18+ video, because I showed the instance of Bushnell doing this. Let's pull up this picture of this man who has the Air Force gentleman who I believe it's actually tattooed right there. Fitness influencer Vasa Nestorovic has tattooed the name of Aaron Bushnell on his face.
Wait, does this make sense to you guys?
This is ridiculous. I mean, it's stupid, ridiculous, and sad all at the same time. Like this guy, like imagine how bad you want clicks to do something like this, to get a dude's name tattooed on your face.
Oh my God. I think that's the influencer who got the tattoo. He has like body paint crap on. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's
yeah, look at the comment on this. With this face tattoo, I honor your life and courage. And this is what I just talked about in the video that I literally posted tonight on my YouTube. Is look, I for a while was like, maybe there's still some redeeming qualities about the opposite side. Maybe there are still some things we can agree on, like even the most extreme things, like you shouldn't kill yourself for a belief that is not fundamental to who you are. Meaning, like, don't kill yourself when somebody is like, hey, you know, those two countries that are thousands of miles away are fighting. Which side do you support? Maybe you shouldn't kill yourself for the side you support. I thought we could still be able to agree on that. But no, the left is literally a death cult. If you don't believe in dying for the environment or for racial justice or for being anti-white supremacy, then you believe in lighting yourself on fire for a terrorist organization.
You know, when this happened, I started to go down a deep dive because I remember flagellants. So flagellants it's not flatulence like farting, but flagellants, where this group of people who were ultra religious and they wanted to feel the pain that God felt. So they would whip themselves. So they'd walk around the cities in their garbs and just literally whip themselves. So they wanted to repent and feel the pain that God felt. They say that Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther, the German, that he was a super fanatic, that he would sleep outside in the freezing snow to the point of hypothermia when they had to drag him in because he wanted to basically, it was the same mindset where you want to suffer as much to prove that you are as close to being self-actualized or, you know, whatever as possible. And they died out. I mean, obviously, because no one wants to beat themselves all day. It's a very masochistic thing to do. And then I started researching other cults or other religious extremist sects that did something very similar. And obviously you have nihilism, right? The French, which invented about a lot of this stuff, the nihilism where there's no meaning to life, nothing. But that specifically doesn't say to kill yourself. It just means that there's no meaning to life. Now, there is something called miserabilism that I was researching that is more along the tunes of where everything is just miserable. Not that it has no meaning, that it's just miserable. And also I was reading a lot of philosophers who have opinions on suicide, right? So in a religion, suicide is seen something very bad, seen as something very bad. there's some philosophers, and I forget the specific names. I don't know if it was Nietzsche, I forget, but they were literally saying suicide is the deepest question of philosophy, meaning it's the most important thing to consider, because if you kill yourself, then you are closer to the truth, or whatever mumbo jumbo they want to come up with. So I know these leftists are reading all these philosophers that were pedophiles, that were just sexual deviants.
Really? You
And
think they can read?
unfortunately, I think that's all they do. They can't work out. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
They can't grow anything.
So my take on the guy lighting himself on fire, Aaron Bushnell, which I don't even know if I want to say his name because we don't want to give him credence or anything like that. My thought process was, number one, the Darwin Awards, right? Like, you get what you pay for, right? Number two, this is the evolution of when those kids a few years ago were lighting themselves on fire, right? Do you remember that? They would just like douse themselves in like lighter fluid and then light themselves on fire and then go in the shower real quick. And a whole bunch of people got like really burned.
I don't remember this at all.
Okay. You might be a little bit too young, but Fabian, do you remember when those kids like probably 10 years ago were lighting themselves on fire? Do you remember that? For the viral videos? It was like
Yes.
It was before Tide Pod, and it was, I think, in the same realm as the cinnamon challenge, right? So anyway, that was the second thing I thought of. The third thing I thought of was, this is a national security emergency. Like, this is a national security risk, because everyone in the world, that video went mega viral. Everyone in the world is looking at the US saying what's going on with their military.
Yep.
And they're going to look and watch what the military does, because if the military is like, no, like we want to distance ourselves from this guy was a sick individual and blah 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 blah, and then the media is going to come and do probably the exact opposite and make him, like you said, another George Floyd. And so this is actually a lot bigger deal than people realize. But I posted that, and everyone's like, "Oh, you have no empathy," blah blah blah. Like, this is a tragedy. He's a human being. I'm like, guys, what are we talking about here? Seriously, this guy lit himself on fire.
Can I be somebody to say? Can I be somebody to say that I actually think it's kind of funny? Like, I think it's kind of funny. Like, I do, because here's this guy. Okay, think about the.
I don't think it's funny.
No. Think about the irony. Think about the irony in this situation. So you have a guy who joined the Air Force, meaning that he is willing to, in some level, at least symbolically, put his life on the line for the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he decides that he has such a passion about this conflict overseas that he is not currently technically involved in. And he has already decided, he's already signed up and said, hey, I am willing to put my life on my line for America if necessary. And instead, when he has such a passion for Gaza and Hamas, instead of going over there and fighting on their side, fighting with them, and sacrificing potentially his life for that cause, instead, he lights himself on fire in an act of cowardice in front of the Israeli embassy, which to me, now, I'm not saying this is funny like a stand-up special from Dave Chappelle funny, but funny in the idea that it's ironic, because wouldn't somebody who has a pattern of behavior to show that they would sign their name on the dotted line to sacrifice themselves for something that they believe in, wouldn't they also do so in a way that is not as cowardice as just lighting yourself on fire in the middle of? You'd think that they'd go down in a blaze of glory where in the conflict for which they have such passion for. And that's why I think it's really crazy, funny in a way, as well as demonic. That's really the end of it too, is that I'm a Catholic. Like, to me, anybody who kills themselves is in some way very latched onto by an evil spirit of some kind. This guy by no means was of a sound mind and body, and thus would have something evil attached to him, truly evil.
Yeah.
It was definitely demonic possession or oppression, like whatever you want to call it. I have a hard time people posting about how they're sympathetic to him or whatever. Like sure, his family, like that really sucks. But like, we can't focus on like the small things. We have to look at it from like a world perspective, in my view, because I really think people like this is the moment where countries are going to actually start saying, "Oh, the U.S. is so messed up. That's easy targets." Like because their military is literally lighting themselves on fire.
Well, so two things. I think a lot of these people, again, and I've talked about this before, the left having the levels of oppression, the more oppressed you are, the more honor you have bestowed on you. And it's like this sadistic spiral, that's a downward spiral. If you feel like your life has no meaning or you're really mad about something, this is the same mentality that causes people to do school shootings, that causes people to kill people, and that causes people to self-immolate, right? We've seen this in many different parts of the world. Now, was it pride? Like, did he want to say, look at what I can do? I'm going to do what you all can't do, and you're all going to remember my name? Because maybe he felt like he had nothing, that he hadn't done anything in life, or he felt hopeless or whatever. Maybe he was just like, I want to do it to show people I can. Was it pride? Like, because he didn't look like he was sad when he went up there. Like if if you've seen the video, he wasn't like, oh my gosh, you guys, no, he was very emphatic and strong about what he was doing. Poured it on him, and he was screaming in defiance. He was very defiant as he was burning alive. So that tells me that it probably wasn't that he felt like he had no meaning. He probably was trying to prove a point, and definitely mentally ill at some to a very high extent, I would say.
So is this the end game for leftists in this leftist thinking? Is this what it's going to come to? Is people are going to just start killing themselves in the name of justice or climate or insert cause here? I don't think necessarily everyone could get to that point, but is that the end? Is that like the logical end of the road for their way of thinking?
If oppression is the name of the game, then there's no higher elevation that you can reach in that ideology than to kill yourself. You can because if you kill yourself, then you're more oppressed than people who don't have any arms, have any legs, are blind, or black, lesbian, whatever you want to call it. That is the ultimate. There is no other higher form of being true to your cause than to commit suicide. And this is not the first time this has happened. Like I said, that's why I was researching all these extremist cults. This is like your name is now in the history books. And there are going to be copycats because they see this. A lot of kids who have lost their way, who are going to choose to do this. That's why I've said so many times, leftism they're going to breed themselves out of existence. They talk about depopulation. They are literally willingly depopulating themselves by taking hormone blockers or whatever, puberty blockers, and now doing this.
No, they absolutely will. And look, I look at it and it's really sad, but that's really what happens when you have a society that's lost God. And so my best advice to everybody is pray on it. And that's really what you can do. It's a sad state of society and a sad reflection of what the left has done. But if you want any indication that the far left is the antithesis of God-based, look no further than this instance.
Yep. And also, get yourself some Freedom 2.0.
Freedom 2.0.
Liberal tears. This water won't turn you gay.
This
no
water,
fluoride, baby.
no
Fluoride
fluoride.
free. It's gay free.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, everybody, that was a fascinating and unexpected twist to my night. But I have things I have to do. It is almost 9:00 here in the Chicagoland area. And so thank you guys for joining me on this live stream. Thank you, Fabian, for going toe to toe with that insane woman.
Toe to toe.
Toe-to-toe
You did amazing.
With the
Toe-to-toe.
insane woman, he did his best and he came out the other side. It was amazing, quite an amazing show. But everybody, If you are not already, make sure you go check out breakaway_USA everywhere. Make sure you check out at Fabian Lux, at Gentry Jevers, and at Speechless Kev pretty much everywhere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. And until next time, you've been watching Breakaway USA and Speechless.